So right now I'm going to be talking about the year 1996, the year in hip hop. There's so many great albums from that year. It wasn't my favorite year of hip hop in the 90s. I would say probably like 1993 was. But this is one of them. Maybe this is probably my second favorite year. Definitely my second favorite year. Okay, off top, let's talk about the elephant in the room for the year 1996. All right, which was the Tupac double CD, All Eyes on Me. If I'm not mistaken, that was either very early '96 or you know what? That might have even been late '95. My bad. That might have even been like November, December of '95 when that came out, if I'm not mistaken. All right, but I bought it in the early '96, and I played the shit out of it. The production value on that I had the double cassette tape actually was phenomenal. I didn't like every song on there, but most of them I did. About 75% of them I loved on there. I don't even listen to that album anymore. It's just I played out those songs so many times. My favorite song on the whole album, to be completely honest with you, was "All Eyes on Me." Um, Man, I don't know what funk song they sampled that from, that beat, but everything about that song was just perfect. And this was the height of the East Coast West Coast feud. I'm talking about early '96 here. This is before Pac got killed. That was in September of '96. This was like the height of the East Coast West Coast beef. '95 and the first part of '96. And I was a teenager. I think I was about 16, maybe 17. I think I was 16, maybe. I don't. Yeah, I was 16. I was very impressionable, and I'm in the West. I mean, I'm on the West Coast. I stopped listening to East Coast during that feud. You know, and this is kind of before the internet. Some people had internet, but you could like YouTube didn't exist. Social media definitely didn't exist. I didn't have internet. Hardly anyone had internet in '96. So I got all my hip hop info from music videos, MTV News, mostly like the Vibe magazine and the Source magazine, mostly. And so they were very much pumping that agenda, that East Coast West Coast beef, because they were profiting on it. It was kind of like blood money if you think about it. But I was listening to all West Coast. I stopped listening to all East Coast. I didn't throw away my cassette tapes or anything, but there was some banging albums that came out in '96. Stakes is High by De La Soul, that was '96, right? Ghostface Killer's album, that was '96. A bunch of other ones, but The Firm, no, that was '97, I think. But so there was that. I was listening to all that shit. And let's move forward to the Bay. We had one of my favorite hip hop albums, just rap albums of all time. Rap. Doobie, aka Sugar Wolf. This was 1996. Every song on there was just fucking banging. And it almost sounded like a mixtape the way every song flowed into each other. Me and my bro Dave, rest in peace. Man, we played the shit out of that cassette tape. And motherfuckers in Modesto, or, I mean, my circle of friends, which was big back then, they didn't even know about Doobie and a lot of shit like that was coming out of the Bay. They were listening to mostly like super mainstream shit like Ice Cube and shit like that, and Snoop. But yeah, Doobie, aka Sugar Wolf, bro, that album that came out in I think it was October or September of '96. That album, man, I played the shit out of that, bro. I put a lot of people onto that album. That album, I still listen to that. I was listening to it last night. Also, I had one of my probably my second favorite Bay Area album of all time, Rompilation Volume One. I didn't like Volume 2, 3, 4, 5, but the first one, man, same. Every song on there was banging. Um, Doobie, I don't know what he kind of didn't. I don't want to say he fell off, but he didn't put out a lot of albums after that. He had one in '96. I mean '97. The production value wasn't as good, and I think he was on YBB, Kari Shahid's record label. I think that folded or something. Maybe that's why. But yeah, Doobie, aka Sugar Wolf, Bay Legend. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, bro. Especially for that album. But yeah, '96 was a crazy year for hip hop, and then Pac died I remember exactly where I was too. I was hanging out with my homeboy Jeremiah's house. We were trying to figure out because I was only 16 or whatever, but I already had a liquor store that would sell to me. So we were trying to figure out how we could get a couple more bucks. We could get like a 12 pack or something. And then it came on the radio, or no, it came on MTV News. And we were like, oh shit, Pac got shot in Vegas, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, everyone think that Pac got shot and died right then and there. He didn't. He didn't die till maybe like a day or so later, or maybe it might have been like 3 or 4 days later in the hospital. But I remember that. That was crazy, man. But yeah, man, '96. That was probably the most wild year in hip hop of all time, in hip hop history. 1996, because of the East Coast West Coast feud. Yeah, and then after Pac got killed, it just got even crazier. But yeah, let's talk about it, man. Drop some comments. Some of you old motherfuckers, and some of you youngsters that are infatuated with the '90s. I don't blame you. Drop some comments. Let's talk about it.